Hello everyone, I'm Terry Nealey, your 16th District State Representative. Thank you for joining me on Legislative Update. We are well past the halfway point of the scheduled 105-day legislative session, and I have to tell you that I am frustrated because we have yet to see an operating budget proposed for the coming biennium. We recently finished the first round of long floor sessions where 351 bills were passed from the House of Representatives and 219 from the Senate. With so many people across the state out of work, my House Republican colleagues and I set out early in the session on a goal to get Washington working again. We proposed legislation that would ease taxes and excessive regulations on employers, helping them to free up resources so they could begin hiring again. It wasn't our employers and small businesses that led our state into the deep budget deficits, but we know they can lead the way out of the state's economic downturn sooner if we can get government off their backs. Unfortunately, the majority party doesn't see it that way. Legislation they passed creates more regulations for employers and extends taxes into the future. For example, one of the biggest job killer bills to come to the floor several days ago was House Bill 1701. This is a measure promoted by its sponsors to deal with illegal contractors and the underground economy. In reality, the legislation is a thinly veiled attempt to limit the number of independent contractors that are permitted to work on a job site. The bill creates a penalty if on a single job site work is performed together on the same task by more than 2 registered contractors. In addition, the general contractor has the burden of proof to show that the independent contractors are not working together on the same task. I spoke against this measure on the House floor.
It sounds like a crime. You've got to prove if you're a contractor, and let me just give you an example, that you're an independent contractor or prime contractor working on a big apartment site or a commercial building, and you've got time constraints and you need to get the carpet laid. That means that you can't hire 2 independent contractors to come in at the same time and lay the carpet. You'd be committing this offense. And right after that, it starts setting forth the penalties, the financial penalties, by just going out and hiring 2 people to do the job.
Penalties can reach $5,000. This job killer bill passed the House with a vote of 54 to 43. Another example of priorities gone astray is with House Bill 1997. As you may remember, to build Safeco Field and Quest Field, taxes were raised in King County on restaurants, hotels, and car rentals. Once the debt was paid off, those taxes were supposed to end. In fact, Safeco Field debt is expected to be paid within the year. But in Olympia, it seems temporary taxes always become permanent. House Bill 1997 would extend those stadium taxes indefinitely to fund art projects in King County and expansion of the State Convention Center in Seattle. I also spoke against this measure on the House floor.
If we ever have a chance to get the Sonics back, what are we going to have to do? We're probably going to have to build a Coliseum, maybe. Do you think anybody ever is going to vote in this area for a tax increase to build that Coliseum if they think that tax will never end? We're just betting our future because we're breaking our promises today, because we're extending the tax that should have been stopped once the bond was paid off.
These are the kinds of really bad bills we saw come through the House floor a few days ago. And out of 570 bills this legislature debated, amended, and passed, the most important bill of the session, the budget for the 2011-2013 fiscal cycle, was not brought before us. There's just a little more than a month that remains of this session, and we don't have a budget. That's because this legislature has waited seemingly hoping for some miracle to help us out of a $5 billion budget deficit. A revenue forecast is due on March 17th. And this is what the budget writers are waiting for. But all indications show that the forecast will be down. So if they were hoping for a miracle, it won't come with this revenue forecast. The bottom line is that we've got to quit kicking the can down the road and begin to address our budget problems now. That means setting spending priorities. That means getting our priorities straight in policy as well. We shouldn't be extending taxes and passing job-killing bills. Just the opposite. We need to get people working again and upholding our promises to the people. Creating private sector jobs, protecting taxpayers, and restoring trust and accountability in government, These continue to be my priorities as I vote on legislation. It's time we get down to business on the budget and quit fiddling with bills that hurt our economy. I always welcome your comments. You can contact me from my website. You'll see the address on your screen. Thank you for joining me on Legislative Update. I'm your State Representative, Terry Nealey.